Welcome to episode 29 of the Soulful Menopause podcast. Today, I want to share an incredibly simple but very powerful healing technique that could help to ease your menopausal symptoms. Now, if you're having problems sleeping or you're suffering from stress and anxiety, then this is particularly important for you. Welcome to the Soulful Menopause podcast. Discover how to transform the chaos of menopause into vibrant health and a soulful life you'll love. I'm Sally Love, natural nutritionist and soul wisdom coach. I want you to experience a soulful menopause that'll guide you into the best years of your life. Hi there, gorgeous goddess. I just want to share something relatively quick today. But this is a really easy and powerful practice that I've been using for many years, and it's called earthing. Now, basically, earthing is when you have skin contact with the earth. You have your bare feet on the ground, you have your hands on the earth, or you're sitting and lying down on the grass, for example, in the spring or summer when you go out to a park or, you sit outside in your garden. And what's happening is the earth is emitting an electrical charge. It actually has a negative charge, and this negative energy has some very positive and very powerful effects on your body. We are electrical beings. There are so many electrical processes going on in our bodies every second of every day. We are energy. We are pure energy. We are vibrating molecules of energy. And so when we earth our bodies by getting our bare feet and our hands on the earth, it's like we're plugging ourselves into a battery recharger. We're recharging our bodies, and then a beautiful balancing effect begins to occur. So they have been doing some studies on earthing, and they have found out that earthing can actually reduce inflammation in your body. Now, this is big because inflammation is a precursor for a lot of diseases, such as heart disease and autoimmune disease and arthritis and so much more. And they also found that earthing may also improve your immune system and help you to reduce stress. Now, stress is another major issue that leads to inflammation and loads of other diseases as well. Earthing has also been shown to improve sleep and balance your hormones. So this could be a really beautiful and easy way to improve your health and support your body, mind, and soul as you move through menopause. So if you choose to start earthing, you may find that it actually will help to alleviate some of your menopausal symptoms. Now, from what I understand, you need to have your bare feet or your hands on the earth for at least 20 minutes a day. That's in order for you to actually start receiving really powerful benefits. And, that's the time when it really sort of starts to work its magic. So you really need to earth for longer than 20 minutes if you can. And one study found that people's moods were positively impacted after an hour of earthing. And actually, that study was conducted using an earthing mat and an earthing pillow and patches that connected the people in the study to the earth's energy. So you can get these products, which you can use, for example, if you can't get your bare feet or on the earth, for an hour a day. Sometimes it's good to have these products to help you. And actually, I think it would be wonderful to sleep on an earthing mat every night. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while now. So, if you've been trying this and if you've been sleeping on an earthing mat or using some of these other earthing products, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this has helped you. But you see, what I love doing is I love connecting with nature as much as I can. And so I really enjoy having my bare feet and my hands on the earth as often as possible. And in our modern day lives, I think we've just become far too sterile. When we connect with the earth, we have the opportunity to build up our immune systems because we're coming into contact with the microorganisms in the earth. And it's the diverse microorganisms in our gut that actually keep us healthy, and they build up our resistance to more harmful bacteria and viruses. And so the more we use disinfectants every day, the more we're taking those toxins into our bodies, and the more we're killing off our beautiful, beneficial bacteria that are working really hard to keep us healthy. However, of course, we can't always have our bare feet on the earth every day for like an hour a day or whatever, especially if we live in a part of the world where it gets cold and snowy and icy. I mean, crikey, we get plenty of snow here in Hood River in Oregon. I certainly wouldn't want to plunge my bare feet through the snow and down into the earth at that time, Number one, that would be very painful. And number two, it would actually be very silly and very harmful indeed. So, as I said, I would love to try an earthing mat on my bed, while I sleep, because I think that this would help to create not only a better night's sleep, but also, to be honest, it's the only time during our 24-hour day when we're in one place for a good amount of time. Imagine if 1 hour of earthing can affect your mood. Well, what would it do if you slept on an earthing mat for 8 hours every day? I bet it would be amazing. Our modern day lives are separating us from the earth. We're being separated from our source of life and health-giving properties that the earth has to share with us. If you think about it, we're wearing shoes most of the time. We live in houses that are raised off the land and covered with carpets. We get into our cars and we go to work in buildings with artificial light and air. No wonder we're getting sick, and that's only one small piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Being a nutritionist, of course, I look at all the processed food we have out there, which is so far removed from its natural source. So this summer, I encourage you to start creating a more one-to-one connection with the earth, a direct connection with the earth. Start taking your socks and shoes off and stand on some beautiful, energy-giving earth. I love sitting under a tree, and I love resting my back up against what we call our sacred tree, which is a beautiful, huge ponderosa pine tree high up on a mountainside. I go up there most days and I take my socks and my shoes off and I put my hands on the ground. And I love, love, love to sit quietly there for a while. It's a form of meditation for me. And I love feeling the earth's energy. And I imagine roots growing from the soles of my feet down into the earth. And I imagine my roots entwining with the tree's roots. And I see if I can feel a pulse of energy, moving up from the earth into my body. And I just love sitting quietly, immersing myself in nature for a while. The first thing I feel is, first of all, letting go of my monkey mind. Because, our monkey minds, they're talking to us, chattering away all the time. And so I like to spend a few moments just letting go of my thoughts, just letting those monkeys chatter away to themselves. And I just get then overwhelmed by this beautiful sense of peace and calm. It really just starts flowing through my body. It's absolutely beautiful. And then sometimes I start getting flashes of inspiration. And sometimes then I just start feeling more and more energized. In fact, the other day, I really wanted to have some beautiful, quiet time under the sacred tree. And I was intending to go up there and sit there for, at least half an hour or something, and just be in some peace. So I was really happy to get up to the tree. I just wanted to relax and not think of anything much and, just have this time of peace. However, after a very short while, I started getting some really inspired ideas coming. So I got my phone out, which I don't like to do when I'm under the tree anyway. And I thought, oh, golly, these are great ideas. I'm going to note them down. So got my notebook on my phone and started writing down these ideas. And then I started to feel more and more energy raising up in me. And I started to feel like I've got these really itchy feet or restless legs. I couldn't keep my feet still. And I just had to get up and go back home to work on all of my ideas. So actually, I just wanted to be up there and relax, but the earth had other ideas for me that day. And actually that happened within about 10 minutes. So I don't think, you always have to be having your bare feet on the ground for like 20 minutes or an hour or so. Probably, especially, I would say, if you're doing it, quite often, and I do. So give it a go. I would love to hear how it works for you. And just like I say, just try feeling the energy when you've got your feet and your hands on the earth. Can you get a sense of a pulsation of the earth's energy? And then what happens? Can you feel that starting to flow into your body? And can you then direct that energy into your body? If you are feeling anxious or worried or stressed, maybe it would be fun to start imagining that you're directing that energy to all of that, and you're asking for that to be transmuted, or you let go of it and you let it go into the earth. And by the way, don't worry about letting go of negative thoughts and feelings and aches and pains and things into the earth, because we see these things as negative, but actually it's just a label we put on them. It's just basically a pure energy. And so when you're letting go of that, the earth doesn't have these labels of it being negative or positive. It's just an energy. And so you can let go of that into the earth, and the earth uses that for her own healing. So do give that a go. Let me know how it works out for you. And if you're interested in finding out more, there's a movie on earthing that you can watch. And there's also a fabulous website on it where you can find out a lot more, and you can buy all these earthing mats and things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those links in the show notes for you, along with some other links to some studies on earthing as well, so you can find out as much as you wish with that. Okay, enjoy earthing this summer and let me know how it goes for you. To find out more about how you can live a soulful menopause, please visit soulfulmenopause.com. I'm really looking forward to being with you again soon. Bye for now.